Welcome, everybody, to our podcast. We are Netflix Weekly. We have a new logo that Phil made. So congrats to Phil for making a logo. I saw that new logo, and the first thing I saw was myself. I saw the word Robb, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is a good logo, because the first thing that stands out is my name. And
if it mentions Robb or it has boobs,
I'll notice it immediately.
Works out. Yeah.
That's all we need is the two. That'd be Rube. I guess the two B's. That's what, because I spell my name with two B's.
To be honest, when I made it, like you can input text and you put whatever text. So I'm thinking of text that works with our show. But I couldn't put whore because that would come off badly. I couldn't put garbage because then you see garbage in our icon all the time. And recycling kind of looks bad too. So like our three main points for our show we can't use. So.
You should have put like just a little bit of text that people would have to look super fucking close for. It's just the word whore.
And in case anyone noticed, my camera jumps a lot. I gotta fix that. It's currently mounted on top of the laptop that I'm using.
What do you mean jumps? Like you mean moves?
I'll show you.
Oh, does mine do that? I think it does. I don't know. I can't. This one's pretty solid.
It's zoomed in a bit, so it makes the jumping around a little bit worse. So if you see that, just jump with me.
Exactly. It's an exercise show too. You got to do jumping jacks with us.
Yeah, I need it. So
nobody can see me because I'm wearing a camo shirt. So I'm just.
I only see a head. Yeah.
Floating head. But all right. So let's talk about anything interesting that happened in our week this week. I've decided that everybody can see beside me here that these are Star Wars figures. I've decided that I'm going to a significant amount of them I'm going to take out of the package and set them up in a standing curio cabinet, which is going to be coming. It's going to stay over here to the side of me. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. I finished my tattoo on my upper arm. This is all completed now. It's all Star Wars stuff. So yeah, that's all done.
It's all Star Trek, right?
Yep, that's right. Star Trek and a bit of Doctor Who.
A giant Picard on your back and you're fine.
I got Picard and Kirk right against each other. One saying "make it so," and the other one just yelling "con." But yeah, that was about my weekend in that show. What about you? Anything interesting?
I'm hoping a surprise comes for next. It's not a surprise. Something comes for next week's episode. I got a nice new microphone, so we'll see how that goes. It's going to have an arm, and it's going to go like this, and it's going to pat me on the head. No.
I have those right behind me, and they're nice. Those they're called XLR microphones because they plug into a mixer and all that fun stuff. They're fun, but I'm using a Blue Snowball, which is a USB mic. And
this one will be a USB mic.
Oh, really? Okay,
it's based off of your thought process there, but it's USB.
Oh, yeah. I like those ones, but I don't really have any space for that, like the arm to come over. So
this one will attach to the desk
back there.
It'll just be a clamp. I'll attach to the desk.
That's what those ones are too.
And it'll go in my face, and then you don't have to see all of my face. Isn't that great?
Well, then you can dub yourself, so you can say things like, "I think this movie was wonderful,"
depending on the comments we get.
Yeah. This movie was a piece of wonderful bullshit. All right, honorable mentions. I watched a few good
men. What? You watched A Few Good Men?
Oh, it's like, what? Men? Where? I watched a few good movies. A few I can't remember, but the one I could remember the most was I watched of the Oscar-nominated movie Sound of Metal, starring Riz Ahmed, which it's one of the Oscar. I always try to watch as many as I can of the movies that are up for Oscar nominations. I've watched 2 so far this year. My goal is to watch not all of them, but 3 more. I want to watch Minari, Mank, and Judas and the Black Messiah. So far, I've watched Chicago 7. No, Mank is interesting. It's about Mankiewicz, the guy, I believe, the guy that wrote the script to Citizen Kane. So that should be interesting, or helped Orson Welles co-write them. I'm not 100% certain. Minari is about I believe, Korean or Japanese family that moves to the States, and Judas and the Black Messiah is about, I believe, a undercover cop trying to infiltrate the Black Panthers. I believe.
Yes, I know that one.
Yeah, and this is just all stuff I believe. I'm not 100% certain. I've tried to purposely stay ignorant of them so I can be totally
So is
surprised by
that
them
the
when they come out.
story that's also like the Black Klansman, like that movie?
I don't think so. I think those are, but I don't know. I think they're two different stories.
Oh wow. Yeah.
But yeah, again, I just don't know because I've tried to stay kind of purposely away from them because I want to go into them with totally not knowing anything about them, which is how I went into Sound of Metal. And I will say it's fantastic. If I had to choose between Sound of Metal and Trial Chicago 7, Sound of Metal definitely kicks Trial Chicago 7's ass.
Really?
Yeah, Riz Ahmed does an amazing job. It's a great movie about basically about a drummer who plays heavy metal music with his girlfriend. He very quickly loses his hearing, so he goes deaf like within a matter of days. And it's the panic and the learning how to be a deaf person. Really just well acted and well done, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, if anybody's looking for a good movie to watch, it's definitely a great movie. No nudity, a lot of swearing, but not nothing like I'm not going to show it to my kids. They wouldn't give a shit about all the swearing, but they wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't stay fucking focused on it for very long. But yeah, that's my honorable mention. Is definitely go out and check out Sound of Metal. It's a good movie. And I watched David Lynch's Blue Velvet, but I've seen that before. And it is it's an interesting one. If you've never seen David Lynch movies before, check out Mulholland Drive because that is, in my opinion, his best movie. And then other ones like Dune and was it Inland Empire?
Well, Dune's gonna have that new movie coming out, right?
Yeah, but David Lynch was the guy that originally made it back in the '80s. Like he was the one that, and it was funny.
People love it.
Yeah, it's a movie that some people love, some people hated, because Dune is a humongous story. So to try to get that into one movie, I don't think is going to happen. In my opinion, I think this upcoming Dune that we're going to see, there's going to be a Dune 2, 3, and 4. Because if you ever even just read the first book of Dune, it is a massive fucking story that goes back years and years and has planets upon planets and families of families. Like it's way too big for one movie.
I can't tell you how many times I've tried to read books. Like I have ADHD, so like
I for every book that I start reading, I've given myself
chocolate.
The chocolate for every page. That's why I'm getting to the size I am. But no, I give myself the rule that if I can hit halfway through and I'm still interested, then 9 times out of 10 I'm going to want to complete it. But if I get to halfway and I still have no interest, I will dismiss it. I'll get rid of it, which is funny because I'm currently reading. I just started it actually this morning. It's called 11/22/63. It's a Stephen King book. Now, Stephen King, for me, I love Stephen King, but I love old coked, and I think I've mentioned this before. I love coked out of his mind Stephen King, which was up until I believe the early '90s or late '80s when he
some of the
up.
best artists and we'll call them an artist because we should were on drugs when they made their best stuff.
That's right, and Bill Hicks was absolutely right. Bill Hicks, a comedian who's dead now, but he had a wonderful routine where he said, "Hey, are you anti-drug? Then take all those movies, by directors like Scorsese and fucking George Lucas and Steven Spielberg and Francis Ford Coppola. Throw those in the garbage. All that music you love to listen to, Jimi Hendrix and Bob Dylan and the Rolling Stones and the Beatles, throw that in the garbage. All the fucking artwork that you love, the fucking Monets and the Jackson Pollocks and the I can't remember the guy's name, but he's like, throw them all out. He goes, because if you are anti-drug, all of that shit is because of drugs. And I'm in no way advocating drug use, but I'm saying that the best of Stephen King's work came when he was high as a kite. And 11/22/63 was one of his newer books, and it's a kind of a time travel. From what I understand so far, it's a time travel book where somebody goes back and it has something to do with the assassination of JFK. I'm not far into it. Yeah, I'm only about 70, 80 pages into it. With how interested I am right now, if I reach the middle and it still is kind of plotting and it's not boring, but it's slow and it's a big book. It's got to be probably about 800 pages long.
Has that been made into a movie?
I believe they have. I think it actually might be a Netflix adaptation with James Franco. So we should check to see if it's on Netflix. And yeah,
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, talk about it. Yeah, but it's yeah, sorry. The whole reason I brought it up was if I can reach to the middle of a book and I'm still interested, I'll finish it. But if I reach the middle of a book and I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to force myself to fucking continue this. I'll just stop reading and find something new.
The only books I've read to full length, and because I'm a big wrestling fan, Mick Foley, you know who that is.
Yep.
He,
Mankind, right?
yeah, he wrote a couple books actually, and two of them I've read fully, and I still have. And
Are they biography books or?
yeah, it's pretty much autobiography. They are, and it's just so interesting because of his career has been so interesting. That and I read The Rock's book, and it was horrible. And I read China's book, which is kind of good, but nothing beats Mick Foley's books. But aside from that, I haven't read any other books.
No, I'm not a voracious reader, but I go in jumps where I'm like, all right, I won't read a book for like a fucking year, and then I'll like read like 10 books in a row, and then take a break for like a year, then fucking 10 books in a row type of thing.
But my honorable mention.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. I'm just moving it on. Ant-Man and the Wasp. I had no. Okay, let me explain. When I watched Ant-Man, I didn't like it at the time. I thought it was kind of boring. But recently having a kid, having that factor of a baby coming out of my uterus. No.
Your uterus. I was about to say, are you sure you had a kid? Because I think you got some of the science wrong there.
My wife's going to come in and swat me. I did the work. Anyway.
Did you say something bad about my uterus?
No, honey, never. No, but watching the movie with him gave me a new perspective almost, or just actually deciding to put my time and focus on it. Then we decided to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I never got into because of that first one, and I thought it was really good. So,
cool. Yeah, I can't say I was a huge fan of either of the Ant-Mans. They're fine movies, same as how I feel about like Aquaman. It's fine, but
yeah, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. So
yeah, I don't ever have to watch it again. I'd say the only Marvel movie that I will absolutely watched once and I will absolutely never watch again is Captain Marvel. That's the only one that I'm like,
you just hate her.
I hate her. Yeah, and of course, there's now this rumor that Brie Larson is going to be in a Star Wars miniseries in the future, or she's going to be a stronger Jedi than Darth Vader.
Be like, favorite movie ever.
Yeah, they've lost my money. I'm not going to watch that.
Well, knowing you'll still watch it as long as she shows a little bit of cleave.
You know what? She's one of those few women that I'd be like, nope. Even on principle, because I dislike her so much as a human being. You know what I mean? As a human being, I think she's terrible. So, and it's funny, totally getting off track. I saw a great thread on Reddit today where someone said, are there any companies' values that because of that company's values or lack of values, you won't buy their products? And I was thinking in my head, because it's just one of those things you're like, oh, it's interesting. I'm kind of putting to the test of myself. I will not watch Adam Sandler movies.
I hate them.
That and Adam Sandler does not make movies. He makes commercials of him and his friends that you're paying for him and his friends to go on vacation.
Can I mention a caveat here? All
right.
An exception to the rule. Have you ever watched Spanglish?
No. Again, and even though it's James Brooks, who I fucking love, I will not watch.
It's so good though. Adam Sandler.
I'm told that Punch Drunk Love is a great movie. And it's made by P.T. Anderson, who's fucking amazing, and I will not watch it simply because of Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler in a dramatic role is really good.
I'm sure it is, but just for me, on principle alone, it's same with Brie Larson.
You got to get over your principle of those. Is it just those other movies that bother you, and that's what's causing you to stop?
It's them as a person. For Adam Sandler, for the reason that he charges an exorbitant amount of money to the people that go into making his movies, but it's just him and his friends on vacation. There's
oh my god, all the Netflix stuff.
Exactly right. And with so Brie Larson. With Brie Larson, what annoyed me was she started after she gained some notoriety from The Room and Captain Marvel. she started going on about how white men are responsible for destroying the entertainment industry, and like just this whole
Soapbox.
massive diatribe where she was like, because now she had this fucking platform to stand on, and Black Lives Matter was becoming a significant thing. I think that she saw, and she wanted to ride that curve.
Yeah.
And a lot of gay and transgender rights were coming into argument. Excuse me. And so she wanted to ride that. And as soon as I saw her doing that, I was like, what a prick of a human being to. Instead, you should be acting more like I think a good amount of the Marvel cast was acting. John Boyega was fantastic when it came to Black Lives Matter. I watched him in an interview saying, I don't care if this ruins my career as an actor because this is what I have to do right now. And then Disney stood behind him. Star Wars stood behind him. That's something you should do. Not Brie Larson going on onto a show and go, do I think that white men are the problem? I mean, not entirely, but it's pretty obvious. I'm like, shut the fuck up, you privileged bitch.
And saying stuff we already know.
And this was great. This happened to me today. So I told you before I was watching that horror noir thing, and they had a scene in there where, remember all those stooges in the States? There were a bunch of privileged fucking yuppie white kids that were walking around with oil lanterns that they all got from fucking Rona, and saying we will not be ignored, or it was something like that, and they were chanting "White Lives Matter."
Yeah.
So today at lunch, me and my two sons are walking because they're homeschooled. We were taking the dog out for a walk, and there was this old lady walking her dog. And I've seen this lady before. Now, when I walk my dog is very well trained. She's never on leash because she's always right beside me. She doesn't run across the street. She doesn't attack other dogs. She doesn't jump at people. She stays with me. So majority of the time, I just leave her leash off. And this old lady hates it. And what's funny is one time she was barking at me. We had moved here for like 2 fucking weeks. This old lady's barking at me while her dog is yapping at my dog. And my dog's just kind of sitting there beside me looking at this lady. And she's like, your dog should be on a leash. We have rules in this town. And I was like, oh, okay, that's great. Bye. And I just walked away. And it was the same fucking lady that I've seen before because I've seen her a couple times. And Elliot, my youngest son, turns around and says to me, hey, Dad, remember that movie where all those guys were chanting White Lives Matter? And I go, yep. He goes, those guys are idiots. I'm like, yep. He goes, why would you do that? And this lady was in earshot of me, so I was like, oh yeah, time to fucking dig in this knife, trying to stab this woman and get the knife in there and ruin that wound. I said, well, buddy, some white people are so privileged that they don't understand that all lives fucking matter. And if you're so racist and you're so afraid of the little house you've built for yourself that you need to sit there going, white lives matter, when you've been the most privileged race since the fucking dawn of mankind, then you are truly a horrible person. And then I was like, just kind of over my shoulder, seeing where this lady is, and she had crossed the fucking street. I was walking on the other side of the street. I'm like, that's right, you old white bitch, because I guarantee
never
that
come
you're
back
one of those
there.
people. That's right. She's going like, of course, white lives matter. Like, fuck you, lady.
You need to put like the Black Lives Matter poster in your yard, and a rainbow poster in your yard, and just have fun with it.
That's right. Oh, and I tell you, like you and I have had the discussion before, the last thing that's going to bother me is anybody trying to come to argue with me about shit like that. I fucking welcome arguments like that. So
I did it on the down low in terms of like, I got Nike shoes in last year, the year and a half ago, whatever. And I put rainbow laces in them. Like, it's just a low key support type thing, like as if you had a pin, right? That's how I take it. And like, you wouldn't believe how many people notice,
Really, eh? That's
cool. Just in your shoes.
I'm gonna like it, but see, for me, if I did that, I'd have to go all out. I'd be like in the fucking full 3-piece suit of a total rainbow, right? And people come up to me, try to say shit, I'd be like, fuck you.
Exactly.
But all right, on to, because we have a bad habit of getting sidetracked.
I do want to get sidetracked and give you your own segment, because didn't you have something to complain about, like recycling or something?
No, it was.
I thought you said something about the garbage recycling.
I did, and I can't remember if I covered it or not. I don't want to fucking.
You said it like today or yesterday.
Well, so with I told you about the I believe I brought it up, the cat litter or
Yeah,
cat litter thing. I
that was
mentioned, okay.
last week. Yeah.
So no, this one I was actually surprised at what happened. So I had 4 huge fucking boxes, right? One that held this my new chair, one that held I don't know, something else, whatever. So I taped them up the way you're supposed to break them down, because you know the Kingston Kool-Aid, you cannot have a box all together. It will
No.
destroy these
Yeah.
trucks. So I broke them all down, and I had like fucking 10 bags of recycling. And I was sure for some reason there's one they won't take, or a couple they won't take.
9 is the limit.
Yep. So I'm looking out my window right here that I got, and I'm like kind of staring at the guy as he's picking up all of my recycling. I know he saw me because he looks at me and sees me. And okay, goes back to what he's doing, but I'm fucking watching him. I'm like, you got to leave one. You've got to stick to stick to your role, and how you're constantly screwing me with just a tiny fucking thing. But no, they took fucking everything. And as I watched them drive away, that's what I was going to bring up. As I watched them drive away, I almost wanted to clap that they did the absolute bare minimum. They actually completed the job.
Robb's there
wow.
with doing the slow clap and a single tear rolling down your face.
You did it, guys. You collected all of the trash. Like,
it could have been that he saw you watching.
Honestly, I have a sneaky suspicion that's what it fucking was, just because he saw me watching. So now, the recycling got here late. Usually, recycling is gone by like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Before a certain time,
yeah,
right?
And it was like fucking 9:30 by the time they showed up. So
maybe it was
that's
a relief pitcher.
Maybe he was like, "Shit, we're here late. We don't want to make this guy any madder. Let's make sure we pick up everything."
So Robb's happy this week.
Yep. But who knows what will happen next week? So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We can move into the next segment.
All right, you start off because you have more notes than I do on this.
Okay, we're going to get into our feature review, and this time it's going to be a Netflix content, a Netflix TV show called The Irregulars.
Now, why don't you give everybody a rundown, just a brief rundown of what The Irregulars is?
Non-spoiler rundown before we really spoil the crap out of it.
At least the first episode, because
I haven't
watched past the first episode.
Spoiler. Okay, it's 1890s.
1890s, yeah, because I believe
London.
The one of the main characters of this story, I believe, started in the 1890s.
The big clue is Watson.
Yeah,
and Watson gives a role of like kind of like Scooby-Doo detective is what I went with, to a group of kids in the underbelly of London. They can't get down there because they're more posh. So
and when you say they, you mean Watson, and you assume Holmes because you haven't seen Holmes yet.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes. Yeah. I
Which
will
Holmes
say
I was talking about.
This part's going to be a spoiler, so sorry, people. I will say they does it not seem a little homoerotic, that part?
Not just that. We'll get into that. I have notes about that.
All right, so that's the spoiler for that. But we never see Sherlock Holmes. We just see Watson briefly giving information or tasks to the main character, B.
I'm sorry, that's right. BEA. B.
Okay, so
What a description.
Non-spoiler review. It's okay, but it relies on a lot of laziness, I would say, and it jumps. It doesn't give you a full story. It's not like fluid. It's just like we just shot a bunch of stuff and we decided on putting this shot. That's what
it absolutely felt like. Like, hey, here's a bunch of shit we shot. Editor, now it's your fucking job to make a story with this incoherent fucking mess that we've all just kind of thrown together.
Yeah, it totally looks like the editor was just like grinding his teeth the whole time.
So my big problem was, as soon as it starts off, we're in 1890s London. And Jess, I believe, is Bay's sister's name.
Let me go into it then. If we're going to go into the full spoiler rundown,
No, I wasn't going to really spoil it, but Jess, you get the impression from the opening shot has some sort of what would you call this ability she has? She can see premonitions, maybe.
We'll get into that.
Okay, but the reason I bring it up is, because from the trailer, you're giving the impression this is it's not a Sherlock Holmes Watson story, but it has them in it. And one of the whole points of the Sherlock Holmes stories, especially something like Count of the Baskervilles, is people think that it's extraordinary. They think that these hounds are these hounds from hell, like these devil dogs. And Holmes discovers it's not. You know what I mean? Holmes discovers that everyone's just kind of breathing happy gas.
It's Scooby-Doo.
It all has a scientific reality. This was like, there's fucking ghosts, and we'll get into the Birdmaster.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why is this in a fucking Sherlock Holmes story?
This is Scooby-Doo, but then you decide to put the veil back on. Like you know, the mask at the end comes off.
Oh shit,
put it back on.
Spirit.
Yeah, but it's a spoiler. But let's get into it. All right, so chapter 1 on unkindness in London. I wrote notes. We're going to go by them, okay? Girl walks down mining tunnel, finds minor ghosts, not underage ghosts, but just ghosts that are minors.
Minor ghost. You know what? It's a ghost that has nothing to do with the story. He's just a minor character ghost.
You're gonna okay. She finds lots of bones, and then something grabs her from out of the wall. She wakes up. Jessie is freaked out. Her friend B calms her down.
But okay, it's her friend B. You still don't know a bit more that you're
going
to
don't know
later
yet.
On.
No clue. Not that you're setting up for anything. Next morning, Jessie has lost it and gives B an invisible gift of a love perfume. B doesn't want to deal with it.
Now, for me, I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, this poor girl Jessie is out of control horny. Like she is desperate to get nailed. She's trying to get B nailed. She's trying to get herself nailed. Jeez. And that's really, she's a teenage fucking girl. She's 17 she's 17 or B 17.
She doesn't hide it.
And yeah, holy moly, this girl is she is fucking hot to trot. She is raring to go. And
she's one of those girls that you knew back in high school that had the collar thing, and she does wear the collar thing.
Choker.
Yeah, choker. That's it.
But I'm just like,
I call it the collar because she's the Scooby-Doo in the story.
Okay. If you were to associate these guys with Scooby-Doo, she is definitely, I want to say, the Daphne.
No, she's the Scooby-Doo.
You think she's the Scooby?
Yeah, she's a dog. You know, I mean, like she's like the main attraction that we were getting into. Like, even though B is the main character.
I thought Billy and Spike, I believe, is the little black kid, Spike. I thought Billy and Spike were the Shaggy and the Scooby. But I see where you're coming from with Jessie.
I just mean in terms of like iconic value, like there's something to the show, right? That like for Scooby-Doo, it's like it's the dog that kind of talks and is like cartoony because it's a cartoon. Unless you're watching the movie version, which is actually pretty good. It's not bad. Anyway,
it has Sarah Michelle Gellar in tight pants and Linda Cardinelli in even a tight leather outfit. So it's good viewing, people.
I would watch it. And what's his name? The Shaggy. I love him.
Oh, Matthew Lillard. My wife passionately fucking hates Matthew Lillard. She hates Matthew Lillard as much as I hate Adam Sandler. She won't watch
Matthew Lillard is the best. Wasn't he in 13 Ghosts?
I don't know. I know he was in Hackers. And that is a terrible movie.
Such a good actor. I'm sorry.
Hackers.
Anyway, where were we? Scooby-Doo. Anyway. Okay, so we, as you mentioned, Billy and Spike. Billy and Spike are missing from their basement abode. B goes off looking for them. This shows off the setting of the show in 1890-something London.
in a weird CG, totally unnecessary CG shot where
Lots
Bay
of
or B,
houses.
yeah, runs out and then they fucking pull back and there's like all of goddamn England and you're like, what the fuck is the purpose of this shot? We know they're
The
like living
setting
in
in that alley was enough. That
yeah,
was pretty
yeah.
good. It
What
was
the
well
fuck
done.
is the waste of money on this CG shot to pull out?
Yeah, they relied. Yeah, bad CG choices. Okay, Billy gets ready for a fist fight in the fighting ring. Spike,
Fisticuffs fight.
yeah, like old school Fight Club.
With a guy that was easily the size of the fucking mountain from Game of
Dude was
Thrones.
big.
And this guy, Billy, I want to say is maybe 90 pounds soaking wet, probably
No
about
fear.
like 17 years old. So I'm like, this guy's pretty fucking indestructible.
No
or
fear.
thinking, hoping that he's indestructible.
But we'll see what that like. That was obviously set up for future use, which wasn't used in this episode, by the way. Spike pleads that they shouldn't be there. Billy's set to do fisticuffs with a huge dude and isn't afraid, but then sees B and is like, oh shit.
Oh shit.
Because he got caught.
Yep.
Switch scenes to the royalty scene. A gift of cups has been delivered to the prince. Is he a prince? Did we find out?
He's a prince. Yes, mother's the queen.
He wishes
or his mother is referred to as Your Majesty. So it's my assumption that his mother is either the queen or a duchess.
He wishes to leave the palace. I said place, that doesn't help. He wishes to leave the palace for one day. That evening, Sir Childface heads out. I'm getting a call from Vancouver, British Columbia.
Then you know it's not spam. You should answer it.
Totally spam. I'm not answering.
It'd be like, oh my God, you're saying that there's $400,000 for me over there? I just need to wire you my bank account?
That's probably creditors trying to get money from me.
I get calls from whoever had my phone number before me. So we moved to Kingston. They got this phone number and I immediately started getting fucking tons of calls and they're all collectors. They're all fucking debt collectors. And I'm like, oh my God, this person must have had every goddamn debt under the fucking sun because I still to this day fucking get them.
Nice. You're tied in. All right. That evening, Sir Childface heads out into the city in a horse and carriage. B and Billy argue about fighting for money. Jesse needs a doctor and they are 2 months late on rent.
Now, I need to bring up a couple of points that I've written down in my notes by this part. For me, again, this shouldn't matter, but because I'm such a stickler for reality in anything, the racial diversity in jolly old England probably wasn't this diverse. It might have been in the slums, but there is just way too much, hey, we're all getting along. I'm not noticing that you're a different color than I am. I'm not noticing that you're a different race than I am. Not a fucking chance. So that immediately, I'm like, how come they're not even like using this to set up who a scumbag guy is? They piss all over like when Leopold, that's the prince, what do you call him, Prince Babyface, or Childface, when his butler guy is his watcher looks like, oh, you don't want to talk to these scum people, like he's spitting on the poor people. I'm like, why couldn't, to set that guy up even better, have him spitting on Babe because she's Asian, Spike because he's a black kid? Like, I that to me confused me.
It looks like they're going for a teen youth demographic.
Then Watson shows up as black, and I was like, we know that Watson's going to get some shit for being a black dude. Like, you just know it's going to be coming in later episodes. Is
it though? Are they going to broach it?
Right. I think they will because it's such low hanging fruit for a story like this, but maybe they won't. Also, it annoyed me again because I'm a huge nerd for specifics. Bay and Jesse never changed their clothes, and it's been about like 3 days that go by.
Scooby-Doo. It's a cartoon done in reality.
So, and I wrote down, and I feel terrible for writing it. I said, Bay and Jesse wear the same clothes all the time. I imagine that as teenage girls, with all the hormones that are clearly racing through Jesse, they must smell and feel absolutely terrible.
They live in a basement sewer.
Yeah, I'd say they live in a fucking sewer. They don't live in a
Well,
basement.
we know that they're renting it out, so it's a basement, but it looks like a totally unfinished basement sewer.
It looks like they're sitting on fucking rocks. And then the last thing I'll bring up. So I was around in turn of the night. I was not around in turn of the century, 19th century Britain.
No,
but I'm willing to bet. I am old, but I'm not that fucking old. I'm willing to bet they didn't call each other bellends or twats or none of the other slang terms that they use in this fucking show.
Bellend, maybe.
I think bellend is a relatively 70s, 60s, 70-ish thing. Again, don't know, but it just seems so out of fucking place when they said it. And they would say cool. There's one part where Spike is
it's just totally a teenager show.
Yeah, and I'm like, but again, and again, I'm not the target audience for this, but that type of shit just fucking pulls me right out of it.
Yeah, it's be realistic here. Okay, okay, go on.
I was gonna say last thing. Sorry. B is a 17-year-old attractive Asian girl. Jess is an attractive Caucasian girl. Her two friends, Billy and Spike, both attractive older teenage boys. They're stuck and can't figure out how they can make some money while they are down and out in the British slums. Now, I hate to be disgusting, but there is a very simple way that they can pull some money together.
They have morals until later, which we'll get to.
Yeah, but that was one thing that I noticed of like, guys, there is kind of a way you can make money.
There's some underlying like not said things in the writing here, which I did enjoy. But most of it was crap. So B hides in a blanket, which I find was like, oh, I need my privacy. So I'm just going to go into this bunk and hide in my blanket.
And just like a 5-year-old, like how many times have you seen your fucking son do that where he's like, no one can see me because my blanket my fucking dog would do that. She'd hide in a blanket and be like, no one can see me because I'm under the fucking blanket. But in that scene, didn't you love how Spike and Jesse and Billy all get under the blanket with her, and then it's very obvious that there's lighting underneath them that's pushing up on them. I'm like, what in the sweet name of fuck is going on in this scene?
Billy and Spike are looking straight into the camera when they're talking to her, which I get the choice, but I don't think she was looking into the camera back at them. I was just like, I thought she was off to the side, like slightly off to the side, like you should be doing in this moment, like slightly. But anyway, like it's just weird choice because it threw me off. I was just like, why are you looking at me?
They're all teenagers. We all already know that Jesse's hormones are through the fucking roof. They're all under this blanket together. Again, with Bay is wearing like a dress, and that's where I think the guys were like staring right ahead of the fucking camera. So they are looking at her. Their eyes are drawn nowhere else under that blanket while she's like up, legs up in a fucking dress under this blanket. That's what I thought the point of that was, especially with Billy, the older white kid, just fucking. He looks like he could stare daggers through people. That's what I think the point of that was.
You reminded me of someone, but I can't.
I mean, I remember
like an older actor,
of Brad Pitt. I remember. Remind a lot of people of. What's his name?
I see all those comments.
David Beckham. Yeah, get that a lot.
You good at football? Is it? Anyway, Jess walks about in the streets, seeing plague doctors. She just about gets run over by a horse and carriage. Then B tells off the guy that ran her over, even though stupid Jess walked into the street.
Yep. Not so much walked into the street, but was standing there in the fucking street, just going, duh, talking to somebody who wasn't there.
Freaking out.
Now, for anybody who's trying to follow along, and it sounds like we're just bringing up random fucking scenes that happen.
We are.
This is exactly how it happens. And there is no chronology. It feels like there's no chronology between fucking any of it. It's just a bunch of random scenes that somebody tried to tie together.
It meets that other scene of the kid in the carriage, the prince, because that's the carriage that just about ran over Jess.
But that almost runs over. And then there's a fucking pickup shot of Prince Leopold looking up the side going, what? Wonder why it
He's
was
smiling.
so fucking
He's like,
obvious,
"Oh, that's
a goddamn
cool."
pickup shot that actor had no fucking idea what he was supposed to be looking at.
They're just like, "Look over here and smile."
Yep.
Okay, so I lost my place. Okay, B tells off someone. B and sister at mom's grave. Not
hold on.
her sister.
That's what I was gonna say.
A sister. None.
A sister of the cloth. And this
that
is where
came out of nowhere too.
This is where he discovered that Bay and Jesse are sisters. They had the same mother.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm totally down with the fact that maybe Bay was adopted or Jesse was adopted, right? You don't know because you've never seen the mother. But these girls are very different races.
They might be mixed and they just happen to come out that way.
Very well could be different fathers, could be different mothers.
Yeah. That happened a lot back then. I'm just saying.
No, and she could be adopted. Absolutely, right? Like, who knows? Maybe this little white girl was left. They pick her, whatever. As soon as they mentioned that they were sisters, I was like, okay, that's going to take an explanation. It would be, I wouldn't put it past this show to just say, hey, it doesn't matter. One's Asian, one's Caucasian. Who cares? They're sisters. But I have a feeling it would eventually be discussed later.
Well, we know for a fact that Jesse is the biological daughter because they were worried that the condition passed down from the mother.
Yep.
So B and sister at mom's grave for no apparent reason whatsoever except for to look at mom's grave. Then after that stupid scene, basically setting up that she can come back to and talk to the sister anytime.
Also, not to mention the sister is like, oh my God, well, don't worry. I think, God's going to look after you. All right,
everything
bye.
will be fine.
And she just fucking leaves. It's like,
don't steal flowers, bitch. Like that kind of thing.
Or you'll go to hell. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Then B is followed by a shadowy person, and then is confronted, and turns out it's Watson. Watson takes B into a room at an inn / pub.
So again, let's try to and what I liked about this scene was
she was all for it. I'm just saying.
Fucking right. That's exactly what I was gonna say. They go into this fucking room and Watson pays for it. She's right beside him. He's like, I need a room for the night. How much for the night? Gives him, takes her upstairs. You go sit on the bed. She goes over and sits on the bed and she's like,
yeah,
like just
kind of looks like that kind of movie.
I know what's coming.
Yeah,
soon it's gonna be Watson.
Unless he's very giving, she could.
Unless maybe Holmes and Watson.
He's not interested,
right?
Yeah,
but that's where I saw that going, and that made me think. I remember you brought it up, the homoeroticism. Exactly what I wrote down because Watson takes Bay into this room.
B.
He doesn't even B. I'm sorry, I keep on calling her Bay. I'm down with how the kids talk nowadays. Bay,
yeah. You're my Bay.
He takes B into this room, and Watson doesn't even click in his head that this might be seen in a bad manner.
I don't think he cares
to this young girl, but I don't think he gets it. You know what I mean? I don't think that registers to him, not because he's gay, but because he doesn't care about it, but also
we know the director gets it because there's like that look from the pub person and the guy, the woman next to him or something like that.
Yep.
So I was like, what's going on? Is he bringing an underage minor? Why are they batting an eye at this? This is normal back then.
But that's what made me think that I think they're going to play it that there's a relationship between Holmes and Watson, because Watson, it didn't even occur to him that I've got this young attractive girl in my room, and people might insinuate that something bad's going to happen.
Well, B can be his beard.
He's gay. But I don't think the idea of sex with her even occurred to him. Yeah. That's what I think, and which is fine, right? But that's where I think they're going the direction with that character.
Watson takes B into the room. Watson and B. Okay, so Watson wants B and friends to look into mysteries in the London underbelly where they can't go. They, as in Watson and Sherlock Holmes. Yeah. They are too posh. They can't be seen down there. It's too obvious.
Which begs the question: why is he there already and renting a room with Bay or B? Fuck, I'm gonna keep on saying Bay. Renting a room with B.
Yeah.
But if he wants to be seen in a good manner, why is he down there letting people see him rent a room with this girl in this insinuating
Which
manner?
is maybe why they made that choice of like that woman going, or woman or man, who I don't remember which one, doing that look and like, what's going on here? Maybe it was to insinuate that, oh, this got this high caliber man and this dungeon rat.
And what I like about you saying this is you're walking right into my next question that I know you're going to bring up, or my next point.
I don't know if I'm going to bring it up because the point at this point, I spoke to you and I was like, are you doing notes? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to calm down my notes. So my notes kind of jump around now, but that could be the editing as well. So I go straight to they find Susan Shipley.
And I believe that this was when I texted you on WhatsApp saying, this is some shit.
The rundown,
like, this is fucking dumb.
The rundown is they are told that babies are missing. They've been abducted, a few of them, and they happen on every day.
Yep. And
there's only been a
babies,
few.
All baby. Did we find out that all babies were born on the same day?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not there yet. So they go and they try to find Susan Shipley, which is the sister of the baby that they know is gone. It's been abducted. So they find Susan Shipley after a big runaround, which reminds me of the Ant-Man.
Oh, fuck. I just put that in my notes. You can tell whoever wrote this was a big fan of the Ant-Man movie with Spike's retelling of stories.
Yeah, so that's going to be a thing, and you know they're going to keep on with that.
That's right.
Okay. So
they ape on that Marvel success.
I'm glad we both thought of that. It only came to mind because I watched it recently. So they find Susan Shipley. They are interrupted by the birds, the movie pretty much. They're evil crows. We'll get there. I purposely wrote at this point, is this Scooby-Doo?
Now, we remember that what I've said before, whenever I'm watching something, there's always one line that I say to myself, and I giggle to myself because it's the worst fucking joke. I wrote down, Susan Shipley was murdered by a murder of crows. Then I laughed to myself.
Funny until you're proven wrong on that one.
It is a murder of crows.
Not in this case.
But that is a murder. There's a whole shit ton of fucking crows.
They're ravens.
Fuck off. Ravens.
And it's a conspiracy of ravens.
Oh, God.
I was going to get there, but
conspiracy. It was crows.
It was totally ravens. that was one of the points. I did write down crows. But okay. The birds feast on Susan. After this big runaround where the birds are like chasing them, and then they take down Susan, and the two others, Bee and Billy, go into this barn or something and lock themselves in, and the birds are just freaking going crazy until the sun comes out.
Lots of fucking bees, eh? Bee and Billy in a barn being accosted by birds.
You could totally make a tongue twister.
Maybe it is. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is fucking Scooby-Doo. Because at the end of it, they're going to be, did you kids see when Bee and Billy were accosted in the barn by a bunch of birds?
It'll be Spike that says it.
Also, did you notice that? So Watson goes on, hey, we're super posh. We can't be seen around fucking Leathertown or whatever the fucking place it is that they live.
Leathertown.
But Leopold, who is like the prince of fucking England, he walks around no problem and is seen by fucking everybody. Some prostitute with humongous fucking tits tries to take advantage of him.
We're not there yet.
But the point is, how the fuck is he walking all around and nobody fucking recognizes him? But Watson thinks that he can't go to the fucking shit parts of town.
You know how
recognize him.
Okay, they actually covered that, but we'll get there. It's like one of the next scenes, I think. Yeah, it is.
But this is where you can tell I stopped paying as much attention as I was for the fucking first half.
Okay, so the prince is revealed to have hemophilia.
Yep.
He is not homophobic.
Well, you don't know.
We don't know yet. Yeah. Hemophilia is a blood clot disorder where if you bleed, you're going to continue bleeding.
Yeah, my brother-in-law has hemophilia.
and he's not homophobic.
I can't speak for my brother-in-law, but also I can't speak for Leopold.
Okay, so he's walked in on by his aide or something,
While
and
he's dreaming about
while he's about to covers up. The prince does not want to be interrupted anymore during wank o'clock.
Poor bastard can't jack off in peace.
No.
He was trying to polish
He's got all that
helmet.
space.
Oh, the family jewels. That's the fucking one I was looking for.
Prince decides to sneak out into the city. He goes into a pub to try to find a different pub. And he pays too much for his ale. And then a prostitute comes up to him, a well-endowed, ginormous prostitute.
Yeah, she's had some huge tits.
Yeah, I knew right then that Robb was just busy focusing on one thing.
And you know what? I was like, oh God, this is boring. I'm on my phone. And then I saw those tits. I'm like, oh shit. Oh, time for me to start paying attention.
It's getting better. So he accidentally hires this whore. She brings him to the back bedroom and he goes, oh shoot, this is not where I want to be. This is not who I am.
Huge misunderstanding.
I'm a hemophiliac. She obviously wouldn't know what that is. Anyway, they get mad and throw him out. This is the explanation for how he can walk around no problem, because he landed in a muddy puddle.
But did you notice how much of that mud was on him afterwards?
None, like hardly any.
That's right.
But
in this
that's
fucking
the explanation.
This huge fucking blue, like dude, it stuck out. He looked like a fucking walking Q-tip. He looked like Siegfried and Roy. There was so much blue plumage to what he was wearing.
He stood out. Yeah. He
falls into this fucking this big puddle. Then he gets up and he's dusting himself off. Conveniently looks up and goes, "Oh my goodness, there's a girl of my dreams," because he's in love with B. And then there's no mud on him. And you're like, this is where I was certain that they were like, dude, I don't give a fuck. Just film it and let the fucking editor deal with it, because I don't give a shit about this anymore.
Netflix threw them a shit ton of money, and they're just like, yeehaw.
Yep, we're not going to spend any of it on story. Let's make all these CG shots of fucking houses, and the rest of it, the editor can fucking deal with.
And birds.
And CG birds.
So the next scene is Jess is still losing it. That's it. Then we go into Prince finds B and explains ravens. He knows that he's like, they're not crows, they're ravens. That's by the plume of the feather. And that's when I go and look up what a group of ravens is called.
But I liked this. Now I understand that these shows have to have a certain level of conveniency. You know what I mean? Like freebies that you're like, well, that was a fucking freebie. How that came together. There were way too many conveniences. Like fucking Prince Leopold gets thrown out the door. He gets up, dusts himself off.
No idea where he is.
Yeah, he looks up. And there's fucking B sitting on a fucking piece of wood just reading this book. And he's like, there's a girl of my dreams. I better go over and talk to her. And this creepy fucking weirdo comes up and starts talking to her. He's like, I really like birds. What'd you have? There's a feather from a raven. She should have been like, great, bye, and fucking left.
There's a little bit of that. Little bit.
Yeah. But she never leaves. She's like, oh, you know what? I could use your help. And me and my Scooby Gang friends, can you get together with us and let's go to the fucking library
and I wrote
some shit? We
have a group. Oh, that's their origin story done.
Yeah, the Scooby Gang.
B kicks Jess out of the team, out of Team Scoob, because she is nutter butter. That's it. It's a very ignorant time. So Jess leaves. The team investigate next expected kidnapping of a baby. So basically, they went to the hospital, I believe it was, and they found the records of the ones that were already born, or they figured that out already, and they were trying to figure out who was next. So they decided to go to the hospital and see who was born on the same day, because all these babies were born on the same day in a certain hospital.
But see, I thought they were at a fucking library. That does not look like a hospital.
was weird. I think it's the library, the place where they store all the records. The records.
I think
room.
it was where they could afford to film. That's what the answer was to why it looked like a fucking library.
In a random college library. Yeah. So they find out who's next, and so Billy goes up the building, the targeted building, to find the baby.
Right.
That's going to be next, so that he can be there if anything happens. Which is, hindsight, it's 2020. You should not be going up into a baby's room for any reason whatsoever, but this is your choice.
Now, backing up just for a moment, your brain is saying to yourself, hey, now that they know this, you know who would probably want to know this is Watson. Watson is a very distinguished, posh gentleman. He could probably go to their house to inform them that there was some problem that's going to be coming to their baby. Also, as Susan Shipley mentioned, the windows were never open. You know, she was never have her window open, but this one time she left her window open. So how are they going to be certain that this fucking window was going to be open? There's all these conveniences that come together, and as soon as conveniences start coming together, I'm like, fuck off. This is stupid. But the one thing that annoyed me the most in that scene is, why in the sweet name of fuck did they just not go get John Watson? That made no fucking sense.
So Billy's up in the room, and basically, I believe the baby starts crying. The mother comes to check on him, but Billy holds the door. At this point, the Raven comes in a bow tie
it's the Hound. It's the Hound.
Well, we're not there yet. You're spoiling everything.
I was barely paying attention, so I'm only remembering the couple scenes.
The bird comes and abducts the baby.
A bird
picks up a baby. Yeah, a full-on baby. This big that bothered me too. It flies away, and then the kids go running after them. I forgot. I don't even know how Billy got out of this situation.
I thought he jumped back out the window, because I was like, why the fuck are you going and stopping the fucking door? Just jump out the window again, you moron. The baby starts crying right out the window, and then the parents would have no idea that he was ever there.
Exactly.
Stupid.
Or just fight them.
Beat the shit out of the parents, and then the baby's yours, and you got another mouth to feed. So they need to kick out fucking Spike, and then it's you and B and the baby.
And the
Billy and B and baby makes 3.
The moral is you save the baby. You're good.
Right.
It doesn't matter about anything else. The Raven leads them to a man taking the baby from the Raven. That's weird. Okay. Anyway, it's Melty Face from Game of Thrones.
The Hound.
The Hound. I put the Hound question mark.
He's the Hound. Oh fuck. I'm trying to remember his name. That book has a lot of fucking people in that show.
He always his acting always sounds like he's drunk.
Well,
or having a stroke.
He always sounds like, now that he's done the Hound, it feels like everything you've seen him in now that they're trying to do the Hound.
Yeah. He escapes via his conspiracy of ravens. You're welcome. He basically does a magic deck and goes.
So, and this is where I was like, okay, this is, and I wrote, my notes are, well, hold on, I'll wait till you get there, because it's right about the ending.
Remember, I'm jumping around, but I don't know. The show probably was jumping around too. Jesse's still losing the plot. Now dreaming of Louisiana, of all things.
And Black Mark Twain.
Well, who wouldn't?
I know what I think of. I know what I think about Mark Twain. I think about respect for black people. Speaking of racism and Black Lives Matter, I don't think Mark Twain would have been part of that fucking establishment.
Dude in Louisiana dreams. In the Louisiana dreams explains that Jess is awakening to her power.
Which means that she's finally going to get her first period, and everybody should be super happy for her.
Hence the hormones.
That's why she's so hormonal.
Yeah. She needs to, so he tells her she needs to touch Raven Dude To
bird,
enter
he calls him the bird master.
to enter his mind.
Touch his arm,
Touch
just
him.
like this,
He
to
doesn't.
enter his mind.
You could
And he
touch him
touches her
anywhere.
fucking
Come
arm.
on.
Touch his arm, just like this,
Yeah,
to
and
enter his mind.
yeah, it's like, why are you touching a girl without asking?
By this point, I'm like, this show is fucking dumb. And I was like, if Phil wants me to watch 5 more of these, it's going to be a fucking slog to get through, man.
Every episode, every week. We got nothing else to watch. No. The Scoob Troop finds Raven dude at his greenhouse. It's like this giant greenhouse.
What do you call those huge birdhouses? They have a name. Remember they called it in Jurassic Park 3, where all the pterodactyls were?
A bird cage.
It's got a real.
I'm sure it has a name. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't remember.
Hold on. Hey Google, what is a giant birdhouse?
Here is some information from the web that might possibly help. Common ostrich. Here's a summary from the website.
Does it tell me what an ostrich is?
Yes.
Let me ask
Hey Google, shut up.
Hey Google.
Hey Google,
what
stop.
What is a large birdhouse called? Jesus. An aviary.
There you go. If only Google would listen to me properly.
It's because she knows I'll bitch slap her.
I will punch it through the wall. Someone else can have it. Okay. Arthur, which is this guy's name.
The bird master.
The Raven Claw. Arthur calls for all
the keeper of conspiracies.
Arthur calls for all the birds in London. And they come. They're just circling this aviary and just trying to get in, even though there's broken windows on top.
This was so fucking dumb that I'm pretty sure either I stopped watching or my brain turned off. Because here's what I wrote. I got totally lost with this ending. The Hound. Oh no! Sorry, we're not even there yet. Because I'm going into
we're not there.
Why the Hound did what it did. So, yep, all these birds. And here's how stupid it is. So the Hound knew how stupid this was. He's like, I will get all the birds in this town. Wait, all the birds in London. Wait, all the birds in
the world.
In the world. And you're like, what in the fuck? And you're like, okay, all the birds of the world, and all these birds start coming in. I'm like, this is so stupid. Like, they must know how stupid this is, man.
It was kind of Ghostbusters-esque. You just have all these things circling, and it's just like, there's broken windows. They can just go in.
I loved how he goes, all the birds in London. Wait, all the birds in England. Wait, all the birds in the world. I'm like, holy fuck, buddy, give me a break.
He just has nowhere to go from there.
He's like, how can this get stupider and stupider?
Is there any on the moon?
I want all the birds of Mars.
Jess explains she needs to touch Arthur. Which, if you were the other guys, this crazy chick that you know is crazy comes up and goes, I need to touch him.
Not to mention, wasn't fucking Jess kicked out of the Scooby Gang? Why is she back here?
I think Spike brought her for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason.
She probably told Spike.
It's called plot convenience.
Yeah, it was just a
Spike, I'll suck your dick if you bring me along. Jesus Christ, she wants to suck everything.
It goes without saying. Okay, Jess touches Arthur's arm, showing him the day he found out his baby died. Jess then takes Arthur to when he got... Okay, so the baby died, and I guess all the other babies are in the same area.
And they all lived, I guess.
Yeah, so he kind of like... I don't even know why he wanted to keep them. He was searching for his baby because he blacked out the memory of the death.
Of her dying. Now, they show in this flashback him sitting beside his wife. And his wife is very clearly a corpse. She's dead. Now, how do I put this politely? I never witnessed a birth. I was on the other side. There was a huge fucking thing up, so I never saw my wife give birth to our 2 sons. I know there's a lot of blood inside the human body, and I'm sure there's a bunch of blood that comes out with pregnancy. One thing I'm relatively sure of is if you came in a pair of clothes, even in 1890s England, if you came in wearing like your Sunday best, you wouldn't give birth in your Sunday best and proceed to bleed all over it. They would probably take that off of you, deliver your child, and if you died, you died. They wouldn't dress you up in your fucking clothes again, because the hound's wife is wearing what she very clearly came in off the fucking street, and it is drenched with blood below the fucking waist, and more specifically, right down between her legs.
They
I'm
might
like,
not care. She might have just gotten there in the clothes and just popped out the baby.
but how did all that blood, like, they would have had to lift up her clothes to get access to where this baby's coming from.
Maybe they
did
cut
they
her
just
open.
fucking
Yeah.
then why are her clothes still on? Why aren't her clothes cut apart?
Just lift them up.
Either way, it was fucking stupid that she's sitting there and she's still in her clothes, and then the hound goes, "Where's my kid?" And the nurse goes, "Oh, you can't see your kid." He's like, "Why not?" "Oh, that kid's down." The nurse,
We've already
just
sent it down to the morgue.
down in the morgue. And I'm like, this is clearly a nurse that didn't do any candy striping, because her bedside manner is pretty shitty. Like, "Oh shit, dude, your wife just died, plus your fucking kid down in the corpse. Yee, god damn, that was ugly."
It seemed pretty obvious that she wasn't that person.
Your kid's down in the fucking morgue.
She was just like a nurse that does paperwork.
And the file clerk nurse. "I don't fucking know. Oh yeah, your kid. Oh, fucking morgue. Face all ripped to hell. They like ripped her head almost off her when they were pulling out of your wife. Oh, it's ugly. Down in the morgue. Bye." It's like, holy fucking shit. That's the worst goddamn nurse I've ever seen.
So Jess then takes Arthur to when he got his Raven powers. He was messing with a spirit board, I guess, to try to contact his wife and child.
Now, here's what I wrote down. I got totally lost with this ending. The hound used a Ouija board to contact his wife to help find his daughter. And then for some reason now he can control all the birds. And then Jess was able to touch his arm and realize that he just blocked out his wife and kid dying. And now he's in jail, and they found all the babies, and he doesn't have bird powers anymore, and everything's great.
And Leo runs off because the bells chimed. He's Cinderella.
He's got the fucking complexion for it.
I wrote down leaving, not even leaving a glass slipper.
It would have been better if he like dropped glasses or his monocle.
Oh, I gotta find him. Does it fit your eye? Can you see through it? B confronts Watson about him knowing Jess is her sister. Watson says, "Darkness has come to London."
Not to mention, in that scene, she goes there and Watson is very obviously fighting with Holmes in the other room. This is, again, where that homoeroticism came in. Because you hear like some, "Don't do that. I don't give a shit. Don't fucking touch me." And then you hear some glass break. And then she comes around the corner, and there's like Watson. He's got like a cut on the side of his face, and he's like clearing up a broken cup. It was
very like couple-ish, you know?
Yeah. But he's like, "Oh, see if I ever talk to him again, that brute. Like,
better not come back here."
It was so stupid. Like, it was. But yeah, that's where I was like, okay, this is definitely the angle that they're going on for Holmes and Watson.
At this point, I was like, I hope, because you told me you were going to start watching the second episode during lunch, and I look at the time and it's like 1 or 1:30, something like that, and I'm just like, oh shoot, I'm gonna have to watch episode 2.
But then, I think we were talking, and I was like, and it's funny, I said it in such
I just
a way.
Straight out asked you, did you watch episode 2? Because I really don't want to. Like, I'll go either way, but
I think the conversation was, because I don't want to do this anymore. I'm like, not the podcast, I mean the show. I'm like, shit, I hope he doesn't think I'm so depressed that I'm like, this show has turned me off of ever
what have I done?
Movies ever again.
I'm never watching Netflix again.
But yeah, this was, I'm sure there's an audience out there for this.
Yeah.
But it's just so...
It's teenagers, it's preteens.
Yeah, like teenagers probably. It was so pandering and so stupid, and like, oh, there's magic just because. Like, why the fuck would he control birds? Like, what the fuck did the
Well,
birds have
I
to do
think
with
that's the
anything?
point of the show is like everything's gonna have this Scooby-Doo mentality, but it's also gonna have the spirit mentality where there's like evil things lurking that you wouldn't want to have in a Sherlock Holmes book.
Well, then Jess will discover what her powers are for by the end of it, and the last episode brings Holmes back to life because he's dead. Like it's going down that stupid road, and I don't like any magic and mysticism in my Sherlock Holmes story. That wonderful fucking Sherlock set of seasons with what's his name, Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. Those are spectacular, and the original books. I've read The Hound of the Baskervilles with the boys. Fantastic, amazing books. So, and I get that this is not a Sherlock Holmes story. It's a story, and Sherlock Holmes is a character
It's
in
a
it.
spin-off.
Yeah, this is not for me.
No, it's for teenagers. It's for preteens, and it's pretty bad.
Yep.
It's okay if you had to watch it if you were tied to a chair and you had nothing else.
Nothing else. Yeah,
if you were in the hospital and it was the only channel you got on your stupid TV that you rented for $15 an hour.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they had no porno because what kind of fucking hospital doesn't have pornography, right?
Like, and you can't get the nurse to relieve you like in porno.
Right. But it doesn't happen. We support all nurses and whores. Yes, and if you're a nurse who's a whore at the same time,
my wife is in the medical industry.
I was going to say, Jesus, where is this sentence going?
So we both don't like it. What would you give it out of 10?
I would give this, I'd say a 5, a solid 5 out of 10, because it wasn't absolutely awful, but I'm not going to watch it again. What about you?
4.
All right.
I didn't want to watch anymore. It was just one of those shows where you're just like, oh,
this is happening. Okay.
Push that to the side. I've got way better things to watch. I can watch Debris. Okay.
Yeah, right. I've got that on my fucking watch. I've been watching right now. King of the Hill. Been going through all the reads of King of the Hill, but I want to
never
start
liked
watching.
it. Before we get way off track here,
right.
Let's get Rotten Tomatoes. The average critic score is actually 79%.
Better than I would give it.
Does this turn around somewhere? Who knows? The audience score is 51%, so that's spot on.
That's about where I thought it would be. And which means that Netflix paid some people to say, "Hey, say this is a good show," and they're like, "Yeah, all right, I need a hot meal. I'll say this is a great show."
I don't think they actually would pay.
Oh, people. I'm fucking certain of it. Sony's been caught several times fucking paying people to say good things about them.
That's not worth the possible backlash.
You'd be surprised because it's not like people are going to go and fucking cancel Netflix because they found out that people were getting paid for their reviews.
No, but they probably were given review copies and like who knows what a critic is? Like it could be a YouTuber, you know? It could be us.
13-year-old kid.
Hey, be us. Netflix, if you're actually watching our show, you can give us screeners or whatever.
Yeah, we'll say whatever you want us to say. No,
we won't.
Hey, you know what's amazing?
We will be
Irregular season 2. Irregular season 2 is amazing.
We will be honest, Netflix.
Just this whole storyline where she gave birth to a fucking gorilla and it has psychic powers, just amazing.
That Groot?
Gorilla Groot. There we go.
Oh my goodness.
Just cinematic crossover.
So we won't get into what you were saying before. I gotta pull up my notes. Okay.
Something about horrors, probably.
We have a special feature for next week.
Woo!
And it's coming out tomorrow. And we're shooting the day before that comes out, so you know when we're shooting. Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, right. For a second I was like, isn't it Godzilla versus Kong? But no, it's Kong.
No, they actually put Kong first, which is weird. What a choice.
I think it's so. I think the reason they put Kong versus Godzilla is because everybody thinks Kong is weaker, and he is. This new Kong that's in this new MonsterVerse is way bigger than Kong is supposed to be. Remember, Kong's was supposed to be like 33 to 40 feet tall.
And that's been kind of explained already. So
yep, in Skull Island.
Yeah.
I
So
really
he was a
enjoyed.
juvenile in
Yep.
Kong Skull Island.
Yep.
So he's
I
still
really
growing.
enjoyed Gareth Edwards' Godzilla, the first one. I thought it had a lot of attitude. It had a lot of not attitude. I'm sorry.
It made
Atmosphere.
strange choices. Let's be honest.
It
Like
did.
I
It
loved it.
did.
I'll
But it
give you
had
that.
fantastic. The atmosphere was fucking
Yeah.
fantastic in that movie.
How do you not
Second
go
one-
with what's his face for the whole movie
right? But whatever.
from Breaking Bad? Forgot his name.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston. But King of the Monsters, the second one, I didn't really care for it. It was
I
fine.
enjoyed it as a like pure action
Like monster feature.
monster movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was all over the place as well.
Yeah, it was, and it was like fucking like a lot of the choices in that movie just didn't make any sense, and they happened like so fast. You're like, what the fuck?
I would
It
expect
was like
the
watching
same in
Rise
this
of
one.
Skywalker again. You know.
This one's going to
but-
be the same thing.
Hey man, I fucking enjoyed Skull Island way more than I thought I was going to. I thought this is going to be fucking boring. I had a goddamn ball watching that movie. So if this Kong versus Godzilla can stay with just as much fun as Kong Skull Island had, I'll be having a ball.
It's I don't want to spoil it for anyone. I only watched the first trailer because it's one of those movies where like I know I'm going to watch it. Yep. So I watched the first trailer just to pique my interest and see where it's going. And then they give away too much in multiple trailers.
Yeah.
So I could be very much wrong, but my guess is there's going to be a big bait and switch on what they're telling you.
Yep, I totally agree. I think because it's a setup for a MonsterVerse where we've got to bring in, fucking Mothra, we've got to bring Hydra, we've got to bring in all these other guys. And
Royal Rumble.
Yeah, exactly right. So I don't think we're going to see a winner. I think there's going to be a
team up
clear
movie.
Yeah, there's going to be a clear, oh my goodness, he's the real bad guy, and they take him down.
Big baddie.
Yeah.
Who do you think it is?
I have a sneaking suspicion.
I heard a rumor, but
I haven't heard a rumor, but if I was to guess, it'd be a hybridized, I believe they're called Skull Crushers, that huge walking thing from Kong Skull Island, a hybridized version of that in like Mothra or Hydra or something like that. That's what I think.
I think it's wrong. I don't think it's correct, but I heard a rumor that it's Mechagodzilla.
Oh fuck. See, I'd be down with it as long as
the
they
government
treat it like they did in Skull Island.
The government builds basically what is it, like the robots in Pacific Rim.
Yeah, kaiju versus Jaegers.
But in this, it's Mechagodzilla. It's a Godzilla version robot thing, as you would see in the old movies. And
I'd be totally fucking down for that.
See, I'm just hoping it's another monster.
Island, but as long as they treat it like it's halfway kind of sort of serious, like Skull Island was, and Skull Island starring Brie Larson. I suffered through watching Brie Larson in that to watch fucking Kong Skull Island. So.
Even if it's serious, it'll be fun. It'll be good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a ball. And I know you said you're going to watch it with your son. I asked my boys. Yeah, I said, hey boys, do you want to watch Kong vs. Godzilla? No. I'm like, fuck.
Just put them in front of the TV. They'll be like,
that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Or what's going to happen is I'll be watching it in my movie room and they'll be coming in and going, Dad, what's this? What's going on? What's happening? Who's that guy? What happened with Kong? I'm going to be like, yep. So pause, explain, unpause. Pause, explain,
I'm making
unpause.
it a special thing where it's like we're going out and getting some drinks and some munchies or something, and we're bringing it back and we're going to watch 4K Kong versus Godzilla, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So let's hope that it is not a miserable mess like The Irregulars was.
And for those who are actually watching and complaining that this is not a Netflix movie, it's fine. We do what we like to do. But the next 4 weeks is at least 3 weeks is guaranteed to be Netflix stuff. So
that's right.
Tune in.
Lucky me.
Next 3 weeks after that. So yeah, we have a month covered.
Woo. That's what we need.
Well, the good thing is Netflix is bringing out movies and TV shows, like special stuff every week. So we're good.
It's true.
All right. Do your outro.
So for Netflix Weekly, you can reach us at any time at Why the Irregulars Sucked at netflixweekly.com. Kong versus Godzilla at netflixweekly.com.
The best place to go for us and you would be our subreddit.
witches found at underground dwellers of medieval
No,
England
no.
at
Reddit,
netflixweekly.com.
reddit.com/r/Netflix Weekly.
Yeah. And in there you'll see, you can have a whole conversation with us and it'll be just as fun as it is here. So
Yeah, we go there all the time, even when there's no one there. So
yes,
talk to each
talk
other.
to each other.
we have one person that came in, so that's good.
Yeah, that was all right. And I think that
Not my
person's-
wife.
Yeah, and I think that person said no, she said she recognized you or recognized.
No, this
I
was
think she
another
said-
one. This is one that like commented you or something that said that you were funny.
Oh, really? Hmm.
Yeah, you responded. Got the memory of a
I
goldfish.
don't fucking remember. I will not remember something. That's why I'm so great to insult, because I'll forget it by the next fucking day.
I forget things and then I'll remember certain things like this, for instance, like comments on ours. I spend so much time on our show, it's not even funny.
True. You're the one that does the lion's share of the work. It should be your show, to be honest.
It's our
Also, it
show.
should be mentioned that the amount of work that you do in editing is quite impressive.
Nah.
So everyone's got to know that.
Thank
Bill
you.
does a lot of work.
But yeah, it's fun to learn Premiere, and I've learned some stuff that'll let me make it easier as I go on. Like every week, I'll learn something new that'll help for later, and then
And
I'll forget
eventually-
half of it.
And just thinking, like 5 years from now, we'll be able to actually be in the same room where we're doing it. So we'll be able to watch a movie
Maybe-
here,
Maybe one day we'll get Twitch working.
right? Then we'll talk to everybody on Twitch. Yay!
Oh, geez. All right.
All
See
right.
you next
so
week, people.
bye, everybody. Bye from Netflix Weekly.
Subscribe, comment, share.
Yeah, subscribe.
Like,
Smash that like button.
notifications,
And, subscribe.
The ring the bell.
Send me nudes on
tweet.
Reddit or tweets.
Instagram me
Where
your
could you
naked
send nudes?
shots.
Yeah, send nudes
Instagram.
on Instagram or
Yeah.
Reddit. You can too. You can do direct
Yeah,
messages.
you could do direct message. Or you
Yeah,
could
send
do-
me
if
naked
you're
pictures.
a public person, you just want to post it generally on our board, as long as it's you and not like a fake, you know.
How about for every nude they get of themselves, I'll send them a nude of me. I'll
Yeah,
put it on our public
I'll let you deal with that one.
site. That's all we need,
Maybe that was that call from Vancouver.
right? You're getting arrested for putting porno on fucking subreddits.
Bye, Rob.
All right, till next week. Goodbye, everybody. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that worked out.
Oh man, these get dumber and dumber.
You know what? I thought it was going to be good.
What, the regulars?
Yeah, because it had a budget. But
As soon as I saw the ghost story shit, I'm like, this feels dumb.
proof
but
is
then
in
as
the
soon as, like,
pudding
you
that you
watch
could be
it-
given so much money and do
Right.
nothing with it. Like you're just you're
Especially
putting it
when
in your
you-
pocket.
You see all these fucking scenes that are just cut all together. You're like, I don't have a clue what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Shit.
Oh well, that's life. Congress got to watch it. It's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have fun with that one.
Yeah, totally. All right, cool.